Hi, it's Andy with Mountain Computers. Today is February 27th, Thursday, 2020. And I've got a quick update for everybody. In the past 48 hours, we've done quite a bit of work on about 6 or 7 things. So I'm just going to give you a quick update, plus I'm going to give you a hardware review of one of our motherboards that we're using, as well as the processor. And we'll get into that in just a few minutes, okay? So let's start at the top, okay? Oh, by the way, I'm the Go Green PC Tune-Up guy. So like, subscribe, and share. Go to our gogreenpctuneup.com website, download the software, use it, fix your restore points, etc., etc. Buy the software. There's discounts for veterans, discounts for academic, and we just released a new version on the 25th. So anyhow, that's enough of that. So number one. There's 9 things, but we'll get to the hardware by the time we get to number 5, okay? So number 1, Windows 2019 server. The performance and benchmark testing that we're doing, phenomenal, absolutely phenomenal. We did 3 or 4 2016 servers in the last couple of years for medical offices, and still running great. 2019 though, we're pushing since December. And we've been running 2 or 3 of them ourselves under various performance loads. But the most important thing is the processor, the RAM, and then the hard drive array, okay, whatever your array is. Network fabric, 10 to 40 gigabytes. We're not doing that much of that stuff yet. Yet some of our networking clients and vendors are putting that together. Linus Tech Tips, he has a really good video on that kind of stuff. We'll put that in the comments so you can go check that out. And there's servers like petabyte servers, but we're not there yet. We're doing 40 terabytes, 20 to 40 terabytes. So that's what we're comfortable with. 100 terabytes, not yet, but some of our bigger clients maybe, okay? So, Windows 2019 server. We're doing another server upgrade this weekend from 2008, so that's on our 6 a.m. schedule. 2, Linux backups. We still haven't found Linux backups for a live Linux distribution. In Microsoft Windows 7, 10, and Server, you can actually schedule a backup that will actually image your system as well as your data live using, obviously, volume shadow copy service. The volume shadow service is very useful, so I'm looking for that on the Linux platform. So if anybody has a lead on that, send it to me. I mean, I'm looking at Clonezilla, I'm looking at unattended backups for a bunch of construction, a bunch of insurance folks and sales, outside engineers who are running Linux, and we need just to be able to plug in an external hard drive, clone the image of the operating system and data to an external hard drive, and be able to restore to it easily. So that was number 2. 3, Carbonite. Carbonite's doing some great backups discounts right now. So the one I always recommend is the first one. It's like $70 a year. That's cheap fire insurance. It's great for anything. The other one that I like too in some small businesses is the one that does the desktop plus an external hard drive. That's a little bit more. That's like $114, $120 a year. I mean, that's basically what? 50, you know, not much per day, okay? So do that, Carbonite. They're having some great discounts. Oh, by the way, TeamViewer 15. Since we're doing Linux a lot, we've been submitting a lot of recommendations for Linux and TeamViewer. So no audio on remote support for Linux, no keyboard forwarding, and oh yeah, no screenshots. So it's very difficult for us to do a good job with TeamViewer on Linux, but we're trying. And since I've moved pretty much everything to Linux, yeah, so thank you so much for the folks at TeamViewer for taking my feedback and submitting those to product development. Even with that note being said, you guys did a quick update, which I couldn't see what was in the changelog, but thank you so much. Okay, number 4, interviews. This is interesting when it comes to HR and interviewing. And just a note, just a tip. I have a video on how to hire business owners, both as a hired gun, as well as you know, for a year, a month, or whatever, 2 years. But what's very important is you'll hire my employees, yet you won't hire me. That's strange. That's really strange. I did have the benefit of the doubt from a senior recruiter recently, And she was cool. She was really cool. However, you know, being an entrepreneur for 14 years, and then 5 years prior to that, going in and out of corporate, I don't think, even the recruiter said, titles don't translate. Well, that's true, but amount of pay does, and risk and reward. Okay, so that does translate. And team size. Sometimes they'll see a title where they've had like a VP job and they have no direct reports. I have had 3-4 managers, 6-7 reports, plus 15 reports underneath that. So it's amazing. But I do appreciate the headhunters like, what's the most relevant one? Robert Half, Tech Systems, all of them. They do a pretty good job now based on good feedback. So anyhow, keep up the good work, recruiters. I appreciate your help taking some of my team members, even finding me new team members in the past. So whatever you decide, HR is a good resource. Just make sure that they understand how to talk to business owners and entrepreneurs coming and going in and out of corporate life. Sometimes recruiters will see somebody who has a long history of entrepreneurial as only being in the startup phases and understanding how to work in startup phases rather than larger moving ships. Actually, she understood when I said, I have clients all around me, above, to the left, to the right, to below me, as well as vendors, suppliers, and everything. So she did appreciate that, and her and I had a really good conversation. So thank you so much to that person, a shout out. Thank you so much, Kristen. Okay. Keep considering me though. Okay, so let's talk about that Gigabyte board and the processor, and after that I'm just going to wrap up with laptop screens for Mac and Surface and all the laptop screens we've been fixing. So here we go. I'm going to show you a quick rundown on this board, okay? So stick with me. Alright, here we go. I'm going to turn this around. Okay, so underneath the hood here, let's see here. That's my MSI video card. That is underneath there. This is an ASRock. Is this ASRock? No, this is Gigabyte. Okay, something about this Gigabyte board. That heatsink right there gets really hot. So in reading the feedback and the specifications on cooling for this board, and I'll fire it up here in a second, we've got some G.Skill RAM here, which I just love. I love G.Skill. I love MSI, I love XFS, and I love AMD Wraith coolers. Underneath there is an AMD FX-8350 8-core processor. So let me fire this thing up real quick, and I'll show you what I'm talking about. Let's see, can you see enough? Okay, yeah. All right, let's fire this up. See, power on. Let's find the jumper pin for this. Let's see, are we on? Oh, did I turn that on or off? No, I turned that off. Oh, it was already, the power was already. Here we go. Okay. So let's fire this up. There we go. Alright. She's coming up now. Get this out of the way. Press the escape key or delete. Let's go delete. Okay. Get this out of the way. So we have a, what we got here? Oh yeah, all right. So we got a Gigabyte board. Let's go down to PC health status. That looks all good. Let's go over here to system information. Okay, so I've got this 9700 DS3P Gigabyte board. Let me back up a little bit so you can see this. There you go. What I have here for a hard drive is I have an HP 120 gig SSD S600. 500 megabytes to and from, basically. It's a great board. Let's see, let me see. No, quit. Let's go back here. Alright, so let's look at our temps again. Our temps are good. Voltage, RAM 16 gig. We got 2 8s in there. In one of my blogs I talked about slot optimization. Make sure that you have the best amount of RAM per slot. So when you do the math, you actually see price per gigabyte per slot. So it's always important. So this board right here, this is a full ATX board. You know, it's it's 9x13. It requires a taller case. It's not your standard ATX size. So what happens is this part of the board right here, what I'm talking about right here, usually is where the power supply sits. So anyhow, that's enough for this board. And this does run a little hot right here. That right there runs a little hot. In fact, it's getting pretty warm right now. But when it's under load, it gets really warm. So basically, this GIGABYTE 970A-DS3P board, I had a bunch of FX-8350 processors, 8 cores, even though some people dispute that they're not true 8 cores. But yeah, we've done 3 or 4 different builds in the past couple months on that. So it runs great. I love it. It's fast, coupled with an SSD drive. That's great. It's a great computer. Very fast. 16 gig of RAM. That's our standard down. 8 core, standard down. It used to be quad core and 8 gig. Now it's 16 gig and 8 core or higher. And as far as video cards go, yeah, that's looking pretty good. So anyhow, let's go back to what we were talking about and put this back on the old carrier. Alright, and then I'll finish up here real quick. So anyhow, let's see. Okay, there. That looks okay. So anyhow, that GIGABYTE board, you can still order them. The RAM G.Skill, still order it. Always buy 2 8s, get 16. The 120 gig or now 240 SSD drives, do that. We are buying NVMe 1 terabyte Evo 970s for most of our higher end builds, 1 terabyte. We just ordered 3 or 4 of those to go with our AMD 3700X, 2700X, 3950X. So anyhow, yeah, we outlaid about between 3 and 5 grand. So, but those are already, they have homes, so we've got more coming down. So G.Skill FX-8350 gigabyte board, HP S600 SSD 120 gig hard drive, Windows 10 Pro. Always do Windows 10 Pro 64-bit. We don't do home. And what else? Laptop screens. We're doing a bunch of laptop screens right now. We've done probably 10 laptop screens in the past 2 weeks. It's crazy. Half of them we can't get. They're out of stock. That's usually the coronavirus or something in the supply chain. So much for Kanban, working in supply chain. It works when you don't have a pandemic going on worldwide. So Mac, Apple support. Okay, Mac support. We do Mac. Retail, no. Business, yes. Okay. Just because Mac or Apple opened up their repair center authorization, but the contract I heard is just atrocious. So unfortunately, those Apple Mac people, we only have one here in Reno besides the Apple Store, and that's MACoRama. It's over on Mira, Loma, and Longley. Great group of people, been there forever. So we don't compete with them. We just send people over to them. Just a price shop. Price shop. I mean, I just fixed 2 iPads, 2 Apple iPads in the past week, so nothing crazy. Oh, and Samsung, or should I say anything that's Android. If it's going slow, just back up your data, reset it, manufacturer reset. It just works. It speeds it up, okay? Surface laptops. The new Surface laptops are coming out. The old ones had hinge problems, etc., etc. We don't like Surfaces. We don't like Microsoft hardware. For the most part, because of the proprietary parts and supplies, and it's expensive. Even Microsoft, if you have a Surface Pro problem, some hardware problem or something, just call them. Call them on the 800 support. They have been just replacing them, no questions asked. And if it's under warranty, and I think 1 or 2 year warranty. But if you do have a problem with your Surface Pro laptop, call Microsoft, explain to them the situation. They might just send you a box and give you another one for free, no questions asked. So, and I think that's about it. So again, this is Andy with Mountain Computers, the Go Green PC Tune-Up Guy. I just showed you the GIGABYTE board. People like to see hardware. So anyhow, that's about it. Like, subscribe, and share, and have a great day. And where is my magical stop button? All right, there you go. Have a great day. Talk